at 180,000 square feet net usable office space and with a capacity for nearly 3,000 staff, the building at Woodcock Street is certainly a significant project. The need for the building arose out of the council's business transformation strategy, which has been rolling forward now for a few years, and one strand of that is working for the future, and this reviews and changes the way staff will work to be at their most effective and efficient in delivery of their services. So Woodcock Street is the single largest project at nearly £40 million within the programme. Being asked to deliver it, the council, in briefing us, were looking for something very special indeed, and the words they used in their initial brief were landmark building, iconic design and wow factor with a small w, and meaning here that what they were looking for was the very best available, but demonstrating restraint and functionality to deliver this efficient and effective service for the future. In putting it forward as a WMCCE demonstration project, we looked at what areas were of the most interest and the most complex to deliver. We eventually found three themes emerging. These were innovation, collaboration and sustainability. The one that stood ahead of all the others was the sustainability issue, this being to drive forward the council's green agenda, which it is passionate about, to make a major contribution to reducing the council's carbon footprint to meet its targets over the next 15 years, to reduce running costs, and it's currently anticipated that this building will save about £4 million a year, and to have a BREEAM excellent accreditation.
The sustainability brief for the council was a key brief. It was not just only about carbon emissions, but about running costs. Obviously, cost in use is very important to the public purse. The how is an interesting point. Rather than put lots of complex engineering systems into the building, we did quite the opposite. And the way we did that was to influence the architecture and the building and its envelope and its facade and its roof. The starting point was to look at how we kept heat loss down to a minimum, so the building's very well insulated, well above building regs by some 30–40%. We also looked at heat gain, and therefore the specification of the glass was vital, so we modelled that. We simulated how it would respond in summertime, so you'll notice that with the building it has a tint, and therefore that keeps heat out but also lets light in, which keeps the lighting off on very bright days, which is key. So our first point there is to keep all of the energy demands to a minimum, which means that the energy use and costs and carbon emissions are low. As you can see, the floor to ceiling of the building is very tall to aid comfort. We have ventilation that comes through the floor rather than traditionally through a ceiling, which is a good way of putting fresh air where it's needed, and we only condition the space where people sit, which is far more efficient. We have no false ceilings in this building because we don't need them. It's exposed concrete, which helps us absorb heat in the day, which can then be cooled at night naturally, thus saving far more energy. And the overall effect of the building is a comfortable environment with very low energy running costs and low carbon emissions. Aston University and the City Council have provided a combined heat and power network which we've plugged into. So there's a central plant room about 500 yards away that we use to provide heat that's generated on a bulk scale, which is far more efficient than having our own kit here in the building, and that helps with the overall city's energy and carbon reduction policy. We also have rainwater harvesting, so the majority of the toilets here are flushed via rainwater, and we also have photovoltaics. We've taken advantage of the government feed-in tariffs, so we generate a proportion of our own electricity via the photovoltaics that are situated on the roof.
What we really wanted to encourage from the outset of the Woodcock Street project was to encourage deep collaborative working, not just with Thomas Vale Construction and their supply chain, but also with the design team and, of course, not forgetting the client's team. How that manifested itself was consideration to how we usually deal with our subcontractors, collaborative working workshops right from the outset during the pre-construction phase, as we normally do, but also we started to consider our working environment on the construction site, and that really informed the design and development of the temporary accommodation. That in turn led to very, very high class accommodation being shared by Thomas Vale and our key supply chain, and to encourage open and transparent working relationships over the 2-year cycle of the construction phase. A little bit further down the line, when we're actually working through the project, we started to bring in the client's FM team, and that involved familiarity workshops on a very regular basis. As the systems were being installed, we encouraged and invited the client's FM team to be on site with us, to witness the installation side and to start to become familiar with those systems from a really early stage and not just at handover. Thomas Vale Construction achieved demonstration project status with West Midlands Centre for Constructing Excellence from an early stage of the project, and I think that really did influence the whole team to produce good collaborative working, innovative working, and of course we see the final product now, and I think that that demonstration project status really did go a long way to help that process. As part of our corporate social responsibility, we take an awful lot of time and trouble in dealing with our neighbours around the construction sites, and Woodcock Street was no different in that we put a lot of emphasis and a lot of focus onto keeping our neighbours involved all the way through construction phase. So now we strongly believe that the success of Woodcock Street offices is firmly down to collaborative working throughout the job, right from the early stages, and bringing that team together. As we've reached the conclusion of the project now, I think it's very, very clear to see that we've handed over a superb facility for Birmingham City Council. It's exceeded the quality expectations. We've handed over on programme and we've handed over within budget, and I think that's a great accolade for everybody that's worked on the project.
Woodcock Street was actually one of the first projects that EMCOR adopted within our Innovation Academy. Our EMCOR UK's Innovation Academy, which is a partnership with the City of Wolverhampton College, worked together to agree what the problems were, and on Woodcock Street the main issues were the programme, providing a project in a very, very tight time frame within a tight budget. At the Academy, what we did was we were enabled to identify a series of ideas that allowed us to look at better ways of working. So at the very early stages, the two key areas that we focused in on was the programme and the value for money. What we did is that we identified that off-site manufacture was the way to go, because that would have allowed us to do a lot more work in a short amount of time, where we produce our products off-site and bring them into the project. So in looking at the off-site prefabrication concept, the first thing that we did is we looked at what areas of the project that we could combine our services, coordinate them in a way that allowed us to prefabricate our services, the mechanical pipe work and electrical containment on racks that could be manufactured off-site and then brought in a timely manner. These modules were not only done off-site, but the products that were contained within the modules were also innovative. The basket containment was very fast fixed and very easy to put together. So when it arrived on site, it was a very fast fixed operation. The pipework services were a press pipework system, which allowed us to do the jointing of the pipework on site without any heat or any hot work, which again allowed us to cut down on the hot work permits. It actually improved the need for additional protective equipment and associated things. We also did a direct observation strategy. And what that is that you can have a new product and you can have a new process, but we want to continually trying to improve that process, even if it's an innovative stage. So we actually did a work study type operation where as the modules were being installed, we were continually looking for further improvements, and we did. The off-site modules in their infancy saved the project at least 60% on labour to install. But by doing the direct observation strategy, we actually achieved a further 10% improvement on the actual site productivity, which is very important when there's a lot of trades and a lot of things to do in a short amount of time.
Number 10 Woodcock Street, as the building is now to be known, is indeed an excellent building, and the feedback we've had from our client is really, really positive.
Okay, we moved in yesterday and it's an excellent new building. It's completely different from where we came from before, because before we were in an older Birmingham City Council building in Norfolk House. There was no natural light, the ventilation, the heat was absolutely unbearable. Having moved into this new building with all the nice white, bright surroundings, I think it's given the team a more positive effect of actually being in such a bright new environment to work in.
It's a new exciting time for me and the team. The facilities here, very nice. We're also getting to meet new people from other areas of the council, and we're integrating more. Again, natural light coming through, big bonus, gives everyone a lift.
Through the KPI scoring process, the theme that comes out, and I think summarises the whole of that feedback, is that the team in delivering the building have exceeded client expectation. When you consider the achievement here, starting from the original brief, the original budget and timescale, we've actually provided considerably more, delivered on time and within budget, and the quality is excellent. The whole team are really pleased with the outcome. I think that being a WMCCE demonstration project has helped the team focus at a very high level throughout, and I would hope that the demonstration project is a positive model for others to learn from. Certainly it's clear that the building has been delivered to a very high standard, and we're evidencing this now from the smiles on the faces of the people who are moving into the building, and again, this really pleases the team. What greater reward could we have?
I think this is a very aspirational project, and I think that the environment that's been created is fantastic. We do an awful lot of office projects and we get to compare them. This is certainly one of the best value and best outcomes that we've seen in a very, very long time, and we're very proud of it.
I think now we've come to the end of Woodcock Street, I think it's a great legacy for Birmingham City Council and for everybody that's actually worked on the project.
By using innovation, I believe we truly achieved the best together.
From the outset, I knew that this would be a great project. Certainly a challenging project, and there's no doubt there have been challenges throughout, but with the team we've been working with, we've met them head on, and it's been a complete success.